I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He's tough but fair and will report directly to you.
Breaking. Trump just made a massive move in Minnesota, and it involves his toughest enforcer. Here's what's happening right now that could change everything. What's up, RedLine USA family? We've got major breaking news out of Minnesota, and this one is absolutely explosive. President Trump just announced he's deploying Border Czar Tom Homan to Minneapolis tonight. And let me be clear, this isn't just a routine visit. This is Trump sending in his most trusted immigration enforcer to take control of a situation that has completely spiraled out of control. Let me break down exactly what's happening on the ground right now. Over the weekend, a Border Patrol agent shot and killed a person named Alex Prey in Minneapolis. This is the second fatal shooting by federal immigration officers in Minnesota in just a matter of weeks. The first victim was Renee Good, who was shot by an ICE officer earlier this month. The city is on edge. Protests are erupting in the streets. And now, a federal judge is about to decide whether to temporarily halt Trump's entire immigration crackdown operation in the state. But here's the thing, Trump isn't backing down, not even close. In a powerful statement posted on Truth Social, President Trump made his position crystal clear. Let me read you exactly what he said. I'm sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough but fair and will report directly to me. Separately, a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare fraud that has taken place in Minnesota and is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the streets. Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Let that sink in for a moment. Trump is not only sending Tom Homan, the architect of his immigration enforcement strategy, but he's also connecting this to what he's calling a massive $20 billion welfare fraud scheme. And he's directly calling out Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, questioning how she went from leaving Somalia with nothing to reportedly being worth over $44 million. This is unprecedented. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt also posted on social media clarifying Homan's mission. She said, and I quote, Tom Homan will be managing ICE operations on the ground in Minnesota to continue arresting the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens. In addition, Tom will coordinate with those leading investigations into the massive widespread fraud. So Homan has a dual mission here, enforce immigration law and investigate alleged fraud on a scale we rarely see. Now here's where the legal battle gets really intense. Minnesota's Democratic Attorney General Keith Ellison is fighting back hard. He's filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security, and today, right now, a federal judge is hearing arguments. This operation launched on December 1st and dramatically increased the number of federal immigration agents operating in Minnesota. Ellison claims this is an unprecedented abuse of the Constitution. In a news conference on Sunday, he said, "It is a novel abuse of the Constitution that we're looking at right now. No one can remember a time when we've seen something like this." But the Justice Department isn't having it. They've called Minnesota's lawsuit legally frivolous and argued that Minnesota is essentially trying to veto federal law enforcement. And here's what makes this even bigger. This case has national implications. 19 other states, plus Washington, D.C., led by California, have filed what's called a friend of the court brief supporting Minnesota. Why? Because whatever happens here could set the legal precedent for how Trump's administration conducts immigration enforcement across the entire country. There's also another layer to this. Back on January 16th, U.S. District Judge Kathleen Mendez ruled in a separate case that federal officers in Minnesota can't detain or tear gas peaceful protesters who aren't obstructing authorities. But here's the twist. An appeals court temporarily suspended that ruling just 3 days before Saturday's shooting of Alex Prey. So you've got multiple legal battles happening simultaneously. Federal versus state, constitutional rights versus federal enforcement authority. And all of this is playing out in real time. Let's be real here. Tom Homan is not someone you send in for a light touch. This is a guy who's been called Trump's border czar for a reason. He's tough. He's uncompromising. Trump said it himself. Tom is tough but fair. The big question now is, what happens next? Will the federal judge rule to halt Operation Metro Surge? Will Homan's presence escalate tensions or bring order? And what about these fraud investigations? Will they lead to actual charges, especially against someone as high profile as Ilhan Omar? We're watching this story very closely here at RedLine USA. This isn't just about Minnesota. This is about the future of immigration enforcement in America. The judge could issue a ruling at any moment. Tom Homan is landing in Minneapolis tonight, and the White House press secretary will be briefing the nation at 1 p.m. today. This is RedLine USA, bringing you the news that matters. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications because this story is developing by the hour. Will Minnesota stop Trump's immigration surge, or is this just the beginning of a nationwide enforcement wave? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to share this.